What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're starting something new. This is actually the kickoff of an idea that I've had for a while, and we're gonna just do it. We're gonna call it 5 Things Friday, and so every Friday I'm gonna bring you something where it's 5 things. If you're a Patreon member or a YouTube member, feel free to contribute ideas for this. Let me just give you an idea. So, 5 things I like about a particular guitar, 5 things you should do, 5 things, whatever, doesn't matter. Just that's good. It's going to be 5 Things Friday. So today we're going to start off talking about a guitar that came in yesterday. We featured it during the live stream and we did a live unboxing of it. This is a $139 Squire that I got on Amazon. And so I was thinking, this really 5 things that you should do to a beginner guitar. And the reason I bring up a beginner guitar, an entry-level guitar, is what if you're buying a gift for somebody? What if you make a suggestion, hey, you know what I think you should do? You should go buy that Fender Squire. If it was me, and you're sort of a guitar nerd, and you like working on guitars here and there, what I would do is I would say, you know what, I tell you what, ship it to me at my house. Come over when it comes in, and let's do these 5 things, and we'll make sure that you get off on your guitar playing career with your new entry-level guitar with no hiccups. Because entry-level guitars especially, you're going to run into a couple of things that we might want to do. 5, exactly. So we're going to do those 5 things today to this particular guitar. And I think just in a little bit here, we're going to make this thing into a really nice, playable instrument that your friend or you or your relative or your son or your daughter or your nephew or whatever will then take home and be like, I'm super stoked to own this. I'm super stoked to play this. And yeah, so I think, and to be honest with you, any electric guitar that you get out of the package, whether it's $5,000 or $200 or $139, pull it out of the box and do these 5 things. Let's get going. All right, so very first thing, one of the things that you're going to run into with any kind of, a lot of anyway, budget instruments. Now, this came directly from Fender through Amazon, more or less, the Fender Amazon store. And right away, it's got sharp fret ends. This is something that's indicative of inexpensive guitars that haven't kind of been to a tech yet. So I'm going to use my StewMac little fret dressing file, and it's only going to take me a few minutes to do this. And I think that before you give this guitar to anybody, this should be done. We just want to take that negative sort of experience away. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to go down one side, all the way down, just a little scuff. That's all it's going to take. I'm using the smooth side of the file down with the rounded end, so it's not going to scar the fretboard. I mean, really, that's all it takes. And then we're going to do the other side going backwards. Let me just do this right-handed. See me rolling over the top just a little bit to take any kind of little burr off. All right, and then there's a couple of them that have a little bit of sharpness on the actual end of the fret, so we'll just take them like this. And not all of them need this, but a little more right there. All right, and then we'll flip the guitar around. And we'll do that same thing on the other side of the neck. Okay, I looked at the camera and total unedited time from the time I hit the button to till now is 4 minutes and 39 seconds. It did not take very long. We sped up some of it. Obviously, I've done it a bunch of times, but even for those of you that are less experienced with this stuff, even if it's your first time doing something like this and you have an inexpensive guitar, this fret file is worth the 20 bucks or whatever that it costs. I'll leave a link to it in the description. If we just did this one thing, this would transform this to a cheap feeling guitar to a much better guitar in, let's say for an inexperienced person, 15 minutes worth of work and a $20 tool. Okay, so that's number one. The next thing we're gonna do is let's get these strings off of here. I'm not a fan of the Fender stock strings, so we'll just get all that out of the way. The next thing we're gonna do is let's get these strings off of here. I'm not a fan of the Fender stock strings, so we'll just get all that out of the way. All right, and then the next thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and give these frets a little polish. Oftentimes, especially on inexpensive guitars, but even on really nice stuff, the frets, because it's sat on a boat or it's sat in a shop for a long time, can become tarnished because of the high nickel content that's in the frets. So therefore, we're going to just go ahead and use our lizard spit fret polish kit. And we're just gonna give this a little rub there. Not bad, but I just want to make sure. And you'll find, if you've never used one of these kits before, on any guitar, I don't care if it's $5,000 or 200 bucks or $149 in this case, you'll find that your frets are slicker when they're done. And that corrosion will have been gone. And yeah, and you might be asking, why don't you tape up the fretboard? Because step 3 in our little 5 things to do will take care of that. So don't worry your pretty little heads in the comments, because I'm sure that there will be somebody who will say something. And if you'll notice, these come in a big set, but I'm probably going to use 2 on this entire deal. Okay. Especially because these frets aren't terrible. But they do need some work, a little bit. All right. Let's give them a little wipe. And you'll see there's a little gunk all between them. That nut's going to stay in there. That's cool. But this will clean up pretty all right. All right, and elapsed time on that deal was 2 minutes. This might take 5 or 10 if the frets are really bad, but these aren't. They got pretty nice shine to them now. Yeah, that's killer. Now that will take a guitar from inexpensive and kind of the out-of-the-box feeling to really, really nice. The next thing we're going to do, and this will take literally just a couple of moments, is use our lizard spit fretboard oil. And we're going to go ahead and drip it all over the place, apparently. I've been using, this is like a $16 bottle. I've been using this bottle for probably 5 years. Like it lasts forever because you just use a couple little drips. But what it does, we're not hydrating anything really, but what we are doing is it's a detergent, a safe detergent more or less. Water hydrates, oil lubricates and cleans. That is the physics of it for all of you that will get in the comments and tell me that this is hydrating the fretboard, because it is not actually hydrating anything. But the physics of it are neither here nor there. What ends up happening is, yeah, there's like goo and little bits of glue and stuff that I can see that have seeped out from underneath the frets that are getting cleaned up as we do this. Yep. So again, we're taking a $139 guitar and we're bringing it next level. And you might say, well, the person that I'm giving it to is never going to know the difference. But the problem is with that mentality is that if you are encouraging someone to play a guitar, don't you want to give them the best entry-level experience possible? So in the few minutes that we've taken thus far to get this guitar to this point, again, 4.5 minutes to do the first thing, 2 minutes to do the second thing. So let's call it 10 minutes and 10 minutes. So now we're 20 minutes in, including oiling the fretboard, right? So now we're 20 minutes in, and now the third thing we're going to do, or the fourth thing we're going to do, besides get all the oil off the guitar, is we're going to throw a set of strings on it. Now I'm just going to put Ernie Ball 10s on it because I think that it's totally fine for this guitar. I don't think we need to put $1 million strings on this guitar, right? But let's throw some new strings on it. We've already gotten rid of the Fender 9s that were on it that are, in my opinion, atrocious, and they make the guitar very hard to play because they're just not good strings, and that is your interface with the instrument, right? So what we're doing is we're changing all the interfaces with the instrument. We're cleaning up oh yeah, that's so much better. And we're cleaning up the human interfaces with the instrument, which is going to give you or whoever you're giving this guitar to a much better playing experience. So I'm going to go ahead and throw strings on this. I'm not going to record it because it's sort of redundant. So I'll go ahead and throw strings on it, and then we will do the last fifth thing on our list. Okay, so number 4, put new strings on it. Number 5, let's do a quick setup. If we're going to play this guitar, we might as well do a setup because it just needs to be done. I'm just going to put this in player position really quick and just check this neck relief. Might actually be tight. Yeah, okay, so we need to let that go a little bit. Not very often that I see a guitar with the neck relief too tight, which is interesting. Even after putting lighter strings on it. So that goes to show you, if you were to give this to somebody, they would never be able to do anything but fight fret buzz. So it's a good thing that we're checking this. This neck is way tight. Still. Probably because I'm going the wrong way, like a dork. There we go. Let's see now. Let it go just a little bit more. Just a little more. The guitar has been tuned to pitch, by the way. Let's see here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tune it again. And this is why you have to do a setup on every guitar. On an inexpensive one, I've never seen a guitar come with the neck so tight that there was back bow on it. So if you were to give this to somebody, or if you were a new player, you would constantly be fighting fret buzz, and you might not know why if you don't totally understand what's going on. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to check nut height. I probably won't mess with it that much. All right, I had to change the battery in my little dude here, so let's go ahead and check this. put that in inches so I can be American about this. Perfect. Or at least for what we're going for here. It's a little high, but we're at like 23. If I was really gonna be awesome about this, I would take this all down by about 10 thousandths, but I am not. We're gonna leave it. Yeah, okay. Now let's go ahead and check string height at the 12th fret. No doubt this is gonna have to come down. This is bonkers. Not terrible, actually. All right, not terrible, not terrible, not terrible. 74 thousandths. Cool, cool. So we want to come down about 14, I would say. Give it a check. Probably can't go too low. I would imagine the fretwork on this thing is not bonkers good. All right. 60. 54. I actually want to come up a hair on that deal. See, if you were to give this to somebody, or even play it yourself, you would be fighting against your own success with this guitar right out of the box. And somebody would say, well, it's a $200 guitar. What do you expect? Well, that's the point. See, you shouldn't expect a perfect setup on any guitar out of the box. It's just not part of buying a guitar. This experience right here, these 5 things that we're doing today, is part of guitar purchase. Part of it. All right, so now our string height is good. Now the next thing we're going to do is check our intonation. And because most people are going to check their intonation the same way I am, or let me say, I'm going to do this the same way most of you are going to do it, with just a clip-on tuner. So let's get this thing tuned to pitch. All right. All right. I would say that our setup is complete. Let's go ahead and plug it in. I'm just going to plug it into our little Positive Grid Spark Mini here. Because again, I think that's how this guitar is going to be used for most people. All right, entry-level instrument. Entry-level amp, but still fun. Here's the biggest thing about this little experiment that we just did. That's the first time I actually plugged the guitar in. So there will be many people, I hear this in comment sections all the time. Well, you didn't even play it. Like, you should just play it first and get used to it, and then, no. What we're doing here, especially for an entry-level instrument, for an entry-level player, or even for an experienced player, it should be done with a very expensive guitar too. Those 5 things should be done, right? That we just mentioned. Now, based on the quality of the guitar, they might be needed varying amounts. Not everything will be so far out of whack. This guitar was not playable out of the box. That back bow on that neck was so bad that it would just be full-on fret buzz, and the person would say, this sucks, and they would stop playing guitar. The thing that we're trying to do here, and we should do it for ourselves by investing in this time in ourselves and in the correct tools to do it, but also helping our friends who are trying to play. A, don't recommend them some pile of garbage guitar off the internet. Get something reputable. And B, do these 5 things that we talked about today in a way to remove obstacles. That's really what we're trying to do. There are enough pain points in learning to play guitar that will discourage a new player from playing that we don't want to add to them, right? So doing what we did today now puts this guitar in somebody's hands. And it's cool, $139. And what are we looking at now? Total time. Now, granted, I do this a lot and I have all my tools out and everything. So it took me about 20 minutes. But what if it took an hour? What if it took an hour and a half, throw on a YouTube video, throw on a Netflix movie, sit there, tinker around with the thing, and an hour later you have a guitar that plays amazing because you invested a little time in it. Even if it's a very expensive guitar, I would recommend that you do this, but especially if it's an inexpensive guitar, especially if you're trying to make recommendations to someone else so that they will love this hobby and want to play it. Remove pain points and get them to the point of having a good playing guitar, right? This guitar now functions as an electric guitar should function, right? Is it the most amazing thing in the world? No. Is it going to be the most amazing tone in the world? No. Does it have the most amazing workmanship in the world? No. But in a half an hour, we got it to a functional device in a guitar shape that can now make music, and we have removed those pain points that could discourage a new player from playing. And that's what I really care about, no matter the price point. Anyway, there you go. Super fun. This has been a fun thing to do. 5 Things Friday. I wonder what we should do next week. I was thinking, I wonder what would happen if we relicked this guitar. That would be kind of fun. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Hit me in the in the comments if you have any questions. Check out our other videos throughout the week and our live streams. Hit the subscribe button and go to Dylan Talks Tone and buy new pickups and such for your projects. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you in the next video.